Hey guys, this is God of Politics, and before we get started, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. I'll have both of those linked down in the description. But today's video, I'm going to be looking at what is called the JHK presidential forecast. So this is the guy that created his first model for the elections in 2018 for the Senate midterms, and he predicted every state right except for Florida and Indiana with Joe Donnelly versus Mike Brown in Indiana, and Bill Nelson versus Rick Scott in Florida. He predicted everything else right. He predicted states like Arizona right. He predicted states like Nevada right, Ohio, Missouri, North Dakota. All those states he predicted right, except for Florida and Indiana. So he has a very complex model. He got it pretty much right in 2018, and now he has his model for the presidential race and his new model for the Senate race. I briefly looked at this at the end of the video, just the presidential race, but now things have changed in the presidential race in terms of this model, and he has released his Senate model, which I will be looking at as well. So first we'll look at the presidential model going state by state. Overall, it looks like Joe Biden is heavily favored so far, 60% chance of winning to Donald Trump's 39.8% chance. Not the same as Hillary's chances of winning, but it is a pretty healthy lead in terms of chances of winning for Joe Biden. If you look at the individual states, the states that Trump won, by the least percentage, Michigan, Joe Biden has a 68% chance of winning to Donald Trump's 31% chance. That is a really bad for Donald Trump. Same thing in Pennsylvania. Joe Biden has a 60% chance of winning, which is a 20% lead over Donald Trump. Even in Wisconsin, a state that looked like it was going to be tilting to the right column, is now in the lead for Joe Biden. He's been in the lead for a while now. And Donald Trump was leading before, but now Joe Biden seems to be winning. In terms of the projected vote, it is going to be very close, but Joe Biden is still favored in the state. He's even favored in states like Arizona now, a state that's been trending blue for a while, whether you like it or not. It seemed even just before, Joe Biden was down by about 23 percentage points just less than 3 weeks ago. Now Joe Biden is just slightly favored in the state. Same thing in Florida now. Even in Florida, Joe Biden has a 5-point lead, which is more than what he has in Wisconsin, just over a 4-point lead, where Donald Trump was winning by 17 points before. Now Joe Biden is winning by 4 points. That is going to be very useful for him. And this does not mean that all these states are automatically blue in his model. If Donald Trump has 50% in all of these states, it likely means that he's going to win some of those states, meaning that he'll get more electoral votes, like in Nevada. If there are 3 states where he has a 30% chance of victory, chances are he's going to win one of those states. So that is factored into his model as well. And when he has all of that averaged up and factored in with each other, it has Joe Biden at an average electoral vote of 298 electoral votes, with Donald Trump at 240 electoral votes, with Donald Trump at the same popular vote margin that he was in 2016 at 45.8%, with Joe Biden at 50% chance of 50% popular vote margin. In terms of the chances of winning the White House, the closest it ever got was Biden winning by around 5, just 5 exactly. Now Joe Biden has about a 20-point lead, over a 20-point lead, 20.4% lead in terms of chance of winning the White House. In terms of the popular vote, it's very close, but Joe Biden has slightly expanded his lead. In terms of electoral votes, Joe Biden has expanded his lead as well. And look at the race of 270, it says here. And if Donald Trump does not win Florida, Wisconsin, Arizona, it's over. He can afford to lose Michigan and Pennsylvania. He could still win. But he's barely even winning North Carolina at this point. If we look at North Carolina, you can see here it's gotten very close here. They say that is surprisingly close. If you look at 2016, the Democrats flipped a governorship race here, which says more about Hillary than I think it does about Trump. Trump not being a very good candidate. This state is trending blue in terms of the suburbs, things like that. But in terms of the race to 270 here, Donald Trump has to win Florida. He has to win Wisconsin. He has to win Arizona. He has to win those 3 states, otherwise there's no way he can win. And he has to keep on North Carolina too. He can only lose Pennsylvania, Michigan, or only lose Florida on its own. There's really no way around that. If he loses those other states, there's really not much of a path to victory for him. And so that's the presidential model. Right now, according to this model, Joe Biden is heavily favored, I would say. And I would pretty much agree with this model. As of now, Joe Biden is favored in the model. In terms of the Senate projection, we can see Democrats are just slightly not favored. Republicans are slightly favored in terms of the Senate, but it is very close. The average number of seats for Democrats is at 49.6, with the average number of seats for Republicans at 50.4. They have Colorado being a pretty good chance of flipping for the Democrats, 73% chance to 27% chance. And Arizona, a very good chance for Democrats to flip as well, 71% chance to 29% chance, with the incumbent Martha McSally going against Mark Kelly, who has raised a lot of money, is breaking ahead in the polls. And even in Maine now, Sarah Gideon is pretty much taking a lead over Susan Collins as well. That's going to be very beneficial to them as well. And it'll come down again to North Carolina. What I can see happening is that Tom Tillis wins less than what Trump wins by. If Trump wins by 2, Tillis will probably lose. Trump's going to win by probably going to have to win by at least 2.5 in order to bring Tom Tillis over the top with him. But as of right now, Tom Tillis is just slightly favored in the state. Not really any other close states. Montana, not very close. Iowa, not very close. Georgia, not very close. Alabama certainly not very close. Iowa, not very close either. So it's really going to come down to those 4 races. So if Democrats can flip Arizona, Colorado, they can pick off Maine, and they can pick off North Carolina, they will get the majority as long as they win the presidential race. But all Republicans are really got to do is just defend Maine and North Carolina. They can afford to lose Arizona and Colorado, which they most likely will, and then they'll keep their Senate majority. So at this point, I would agree with this model that the Democrats are the odds are slightly against them in terms of winning the Senate, but it is certainly in play, probably more than it was in play before. You could even see states like Montana becoming more in play, states like Kansas becoming more in play. States like Alabama breaking away in terms of the Republicans. So it's going to be a very good year in terms of the election. I just wanted to look at this model overall. I know it's a short video, but there's certain scenarios you could go through. Democrats flip Arizona, Colorado. Don't flip North Carolina and Maine. That's probably the most likely scenario, as it says here. A 52 to 48 Senate would be 11% chance of happening. But for the Democrats, they have an 8.3% chance of having a 50-50 majority, but a bit less of a chance, around a 5% chance of getting it with their majority. They also have a 6.5% chance of having it with 51 seats. I'm not sure how that would happen, but I'm sure it could happen somehow. But yeah, this is just looking at the overall map here. Again, if we go back to the presidential map here, you can see Joe Biden is favored in the presidential map. Democrats are heavily favored in the House, and Democrats are just have the odds against them in the Senate. So things are looking up for the Democrats here. They are doing better in the Senate than they were before. They are doing better in the presidential race than they were before. They're doing well in the congressional ballot, which is not shown here, but they're still winning it. And they're doing very well overall. And we'll see if this momentum continues for them. Obviously, you had the Obama endorsement. You had the Bernie endorsement. You had the Elizabeth Warren endorsement. That seems to have helped Joe Biden. Whether he can continue that momentum on the campaign trail, whatever that may be, we'll see. Whether he can handle himself in the debates, we'll see. So there's a lot of other factors going into this, but as of now, Joe Biden is favored in the presidential race. Republicans are just favored in the Senate, and Democrats are favored in the House. So I just wanted to look at this model in depth again. I thought it was pretty interesting to look at. But yeah, thank you all for watching this video. Please like and subscribe as always. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, and I will see you guys later.